Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I run games for fun, so what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Void Hunters, a game about being space pirates. And a lot of things got done, and a lot of things didn't get done. For what did get done, if I scroll all the way down here, I managed to, using a little bit of faith, power, and fortitude, power my way through doing almost everything here. These are all the various modules, to one way or another. All of them have their various specifications. This was surprisingly more difficult than you think it was, simply because there was a lot of them, and I needed to make sure everything kind of looked right. There's no real rhyme or reason outside of what felt right. As you can kind of see, things like autoloaders, auxiliary fuel tank, converted hangars. Probably some of the stranger ones are things like the fake transponder core, which the fake transponder core, as you can see, actually has empty spaces in the middle, which means that you can technically, if you have a big enough ship, slap that thing in the middle and then put things in it. If you really feel like it, which you can do some, I think you probably do some creative things. Most notably, if we go all the way down here, you can kind of see some of the smaller things, you know, some of the more obtuse ones as you can kind of see here, which I have angles to them. Most of these are tied to energy weapons of some variety, the strangest one being the pop batteries, which are just awkward pieces of shit that fit in literally fucking anywhere, because they are technically 3x3, but they're 3x3 in a weird way. Actually 3x2 in a weird way. Same goes for the point defense computer, which is technically 5x2, 3 up, 5 in the bottom, which doesn't seem very odd, but if you go through all the ships, that's kind of a rarity. Most of them are present in some way or another. These were the hard ones down here. These were the ones that I never actually ended up mentioning previously because they weren't present. These are the small ones, such as the Void Shrine, which improved the crew rating, weapon racks, life rafts, luxury suites, blast doors, and finally the backup battery. Generally speaking, all of these are useful in some way, and you can fit multiple of them aboard every ship. Even if they are just the tiny little bullshit ones that don't really do much, like all things considered, they don't do much, but they do provide something, such as me in my workshop. I was kind of looking around, see how things actually played out, and these were just a handful of the various ships that end up being created. If I really wanted to be specific about this, what I could do is put you there, and then there we go. You kind of see what these are, what these ships are really going to look like. And this was kind of one of the issues why the smaller ships ended up getting made. The smaller parts anyway, started getting made is because these were just, I needed to fill these up in some way. Because this was a kind of a common trend I saw among a lot of them, were that there are just these empty spaces. But hopefully that's fixed, and hopefully people can actually kind of more decently invest. So, for example, our ship down here, I believe he ended up having 2 heavy guns and an ECM blocker. He can put his engineering bay down there. He has no cargo space, but he also has 2 massive fuck-off guns and ECM, and bonus to his ECM. Also, one like here is mostly going to be most of the time you're going to end up slapping these Void Shrines in, because they are the most, I'm not going to say economical, but they are valuable in their own way, which is to mean, hey, I can slap in these things and get just basic crew rating, which having bonus crew rating is very good. Hello, McDrewsalt, how are you? Let me actually go all the way up here. We just double check everything. Yes, everything is good. We also got what I should do is hull integrity, before it takes internal. What should do is we're going to bring that down to 8, which is going to be then standard cargo space. That's not going to work. Amount of damage a ship can sustain. Oh fuck. No. Fucking damage a ship can take before internal damage. Amount of cargo space, hard points, available hard points aboard the ship. 1, 2, 3. Engine speed, engine power. ECM value, sensor rating of the sensors, number crew. Yeah, there we go. Pretty standard stuff. Nothing too exciting. Just wanted to make sure. I did realize on these ships, such as the Ame and the Abigail, these are going to be bait for a lot of the little things. So, which weirdly did end up making these far better at boarding than anything else, because you can slap a lot of things like weapon racks on them. You can slap weapon racks, you can slap boarding pods. It's very easy to make sure those ships do very well if they get very close and probably explode. But yeah, here we go, all hands on decks. What I should do is I'll lose 1d8 crew. How do they keep? So what I should do is, as the crew develops, they will have a natural crew rating. crew rating, representing their skill and ability. Every successful job increases the crew rating. Increase the crew rating by 1. Increase the crew rating by 1. If recruiting more than half of slave after every successful job, increase the crew rating by 1. If recruiting more than half of the current size, recruiting half the current size, reduce crew rating by 1. If doubling the size of the crew, reduce crew rating by 3. So it's kind of the idea, like, your crew, the more you keep this basic crew, the better they're going to get, but every time you replace them, they're going to be dropping back down. So it's kind of like you want to keep your crew alive, but understand that, like, there's probably going to be a point where you're going to have to, like, replace these guys because they're going to die. Or you're going to build up to a bigger ship and you're going to have to recruit double the number of crew you currently have. You're going to have to do that. That's just kind of going to be a thing. An unfortunate thing, but a reality, which does make like the void shrines actually pretty useful, because they just increase your crew rating by 1 as long as they're active. But if they take damage, your crew rating is going to start plummeting, and your crew rating is tied to things like repairing, for example, which is very good. So if your void shrines start going down, it's going to start... Ooh, right there. If your void shrines start going down, you're going to quickly start realizing that your ship is going to be in more disrepair than it normally should be. Don't let things get... Just fun fact, fun hint. I'm going to give you a big hint for this game. Don't get hit. Just don't die. Super secret, plan to success. Don't die. That's my gamer opinion, everybody. Dying is gay. Kind of like fucking Overwatch, jeez. See, I can talk about this because this is my stream. I just realized, like, Overwatch is going to be dead in like a day and a half. That's wild to me. That's completely bonkers to me, because I was there. I was in the muck during 2016 when that fucking game came out. I remember my friend dragged me to fucking Taco Bell every other fucking day. We would have to go to goddamn Taco Bell, and he would get the fucking drink because he wanted to get the beta access. And now it's like, oh, it's going free to play. There's going to be this weird battle pass put into it. It's wild to me. It's wonky. It's bizarre. I'm like, huh. How time changes. Then he got hitched and he got weird. But it's like, huh. I find that fascinating personally. But that's why one friend didn't. Another friend did point out TF2 is still going, and TF2 is going stronger than ever. Delicious. We got our basic range difficulties. Okay, so these are our main goals for today: survival, surrendering, and salvage, guns of the patriots, and the man and the fleet, and some basics of sector creation. That's kind of what I want to do. And indirectly, what I'm going to say here as well is the economy, which I feel to be fairly important at this point because I haven't really touched on it. But yes, the first thing... Ooh, excuse me. Ooh. Yeah, I'm trying out some Oktoberfest beer. I don't know if I like it or not. Not by my usual company I like getting it from, but I don't hate it. It's weird. It doesn't taste right. Okay, so survival, surrendering, and salvage. It's right here. Actually, so during the heat of During battle, ships will inevitably take damage. This it will inevitably take damage when a ship sustains hull integrity damage. Integrity. When a ship sustains hull integrity damage. When a ship sustains hull integrity damage, it is considered to be actually, when a ship hull integrity, this is considered when a ship sustains hull integrity damage. The ship, let's see, the ship has taken superficial hits or glancing blows off the armor, representing the small. It's when the hull is punctured. It is when the hull is punctured does the real damage begin. There are five ways to be fully disabled in the void. The first method is a ship explodes. The ship sustains a massive barrage of firepower while already crippled. If a single attack were to fill in all remaining internal sections, the ship explodes into nothing. Ship explodes into debris. So we've got that. Our second one is complete blackout. The ship is sent adrift after its systems have been completely fried. After its systems have been completely fried by taking triple their ECM damage in a single round. Let's see, by taking triple their ECM damage in a single round. They are until major repairs are done, the ship is adrift. Then we have how do I want to word this? This would be pretty much you are crippled. Actually, no, crippled. Crippled. The ship has lost over half of its internal section. And shuts down due to the overwhelming damage. While some of the crew may yet survive, the ship is out of the battle, which leads to its explosion. Ship detonate. I'll do ship detonation. Complete blackout, crippled. You love when the game includes the ship explodes. Yeah, let's make it a little bit more formal. It's just a full detonation, but yeah, everything explodes into debris. You're just dead. Then we'll do surrendering. A formal surrender. The ship opens comms and formally surrenders to the vessel. The vessel attacking. Weapons are powered down if accepted, and they are boarded. It's kind of like surrendering is the probably what's going to happen a majority of the time. In most fights, people don't want to die. If you're fighting a bunch of fucking freighters, either you're going to just cripple them, or you're going to force them into a surrender, being like, you physically cannot win, and we're offering you something. And this is kind of something that you kind of gotta do as well. It's a little bit of quid pro quo, being like, we won't kill you. Like, we'll power down our guns, you power down your guns, we just want to steal all your shit. Like, fine, fuck it, nobody wants to die. But if they think they can win, it's like, okay, yeah, like, the fucking war, the warship is not going to surrender, no matter what you do. Because it's 95% of the time probably going to be able to blast you at the fucking kingdom come. And it's okay with that, it knows that. Let's see, formal surrender, and finally, crew annihilation. The ship's crew has been completely lost. They are adrift. The ship is a hulk, dead. The ship is a steel coffin for the dead. Steel coffin for the dead. Don't worry, I can fight you. I'm the little core. Explosion. Everyone dies. I do have like a thing, which is I did debate on adding like a secondary rule here, because if you've noticed, I have ballistic weapons, energy weapons, and missile weapons. I originally was going to do here's the a cataclysm weapon. Which is cataclysm weapons, which is you die. That was that was just going to be it. Fill in every single section of your ship immediately. It's dead. It's gone. There's nothing left. If a cataclysm tier weapon hits you, there just isn't a ship anymore. Like, you are void. Which is kind of like that's a little bit of the scary thing about it as well, where it's like, yeah, fighting something with a big ass gun does mean you're fighting something with a big ass gun. And you're like, ah, look at me, I have my super cool, awesome battleship. Yeah, you get hit by one of those things, you're just dead. Like, you just take an absurd amount of damage to the point where you're crippled. It's a mandatory crippling at best. And that's why nobody uses these things, because they are so horrifying. But also, it's like, yeah, but you are not a state actor. You are a criminal. So yeah, it's perfectly fine to use death weapons against you. As included, the lost ship is a steel coffin for the dead. Let's see. We want to... I would say the most, like, it's a very real chance that, like, complete blackouts probably going to occur. I'm hoping that with, like, I'm probably going to restrict, like, really dedicated, like, EMP weapons to be either, like, very expensive or very rare. Or it's like, yeah, you're not crippling anybody with these things. However, can you cripple yourself like a moron? Yes. Complete blackout crew annihilation, crippled formal surrender, ship detonation. When a ship has been rendered helpless and their allies flee, it's salvaging time. During the salvaging process, the captain is free to make let's see, during the salvaging process, all defeated ships are all ships are either processed for scrap, scrap or brought up to operational efficiency and recruit. Hey, we're completely crippled and we're going nowhere, but that freighter is perfectly fine. Let's just take over the freighter. Like we're fine, but hence why, you know, the ship tow is actually very valuable in case you want to do this. So, actually, for every destroyed, actually, how do we want to do this? Actually, we want to do, how do we want to do this? Actually, for every destroy, actually, so we're going to need to do a salvage charge. So we're going to do undestroyed, pretty much undamaged. Going to do an undamaged section is going to be worth, let's say, 3 scrap. That's just something is completely undamaged. We can scrap it effectively. We can turn it into something else. This is you literally tearing the ship apart in an effort to get something out of it. That's what you're doing. Damage sections, however, are only 1 scrap. Let's see, damage sections are only 1 scrap. Undamaged modules are going to be worth 10. It's going to be 4 scrap a section. So the smaller ones you can smaller ones you're more freely able to recover things from, while more damaged ones are a little bit harder. So actually, if I do an undamaged module, we can probably do 2 scrap. Actually, we'll do 2 scrap a section. It's not too much, but it's going to be, instead of like being 2 scrap a section, it's 5 scrap, because it's going to be an undamaged section and an undamaged module. Damage modules are going to be worth 0.5 scrap a section, and that's any damage to any module. So the bigger modules actually can get damaged a lot easier, making them a lot more kind of a risky proposition. Actually, we can probably increase this. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do undamaged sections. We'll do 10 scrap. Damaged sections, we're going to make 5 scrap. Undamaged sections, we're going to make it instead 4 scrap, and we're going to make damaged modules 2 scrap a section. So these are kind of like the base, you know, these are kind of the basic concepts of like, this is how much scrap you're going to get by just harvesting a ship. If the ship is detonated, have all scrap gain. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing. Is like, if the ship is actually just fully destroyed, you're not going to get much out of it. Just be, you know, if the ship detonated, have all scrap gain as the crew is forced to pick through the molten steel. Each captain can make 2 checks during this time as well. A shipbreaker title trial, 2 trials during this time. Shipbreak title trial and a crew rating trial. The shipbreaker title allows the captains the first pick of breaker title. The shipbreaker title trial difficulty, we'll say difficulty 3, actually difficulty 5, allows the captains to get the first pick of the loot. First pick of the loot inside of the. Let's see. First pick of the loop with whoever scores the highest. scores the highest, let's see, with whoever scores the highest, having first dibs. The idea being here is that you know what to look for immediately, so it's you're grabbing, this is the guns I want. I want this. I want this. No, I want this because my crew's already out there doing stuff. Whoever scores the highest has for having first dibs. First dibs on any module or gun currently in service. Currently present. Currently present. The captains, actually I should say it should be undamaged module. We should do we'll do guns, which we're going to do it's going to be either 1, 2, or 4. 4 scrap, which is going to be light, medium, or heavy. The captains will go in order. We'll go in order, taking the choice pieces of loot to their vessels. Pieces of loot to their vessel. We'll go through the order, taking the choice pieces of loot for their vessel. If they so please. Captains may have a more formal agreement. But first come, first serves. Crew rating. Finally, each captain will make a difficulty 5 crew check. Crew rating check. To fish up any additional loot, any additional scrap in the area. Each success netting 2 scrap. Actually, it will make a crew rating check to fish up additional scrap in the area. Difficulty increases. Actually, yeah, no. Difficulty increases the smaller number of ships. Able to be broken down, which I'm going to put a footnote there. To fish up any additional scrap, each success netting 2 scrap. This is literally you sending your crew out to find shit. That's really all it boils down to. Hi Notepad, how are you doing today? If you feel really want to fuck with firmware updates that you need to reconfigure stuff with. Yeah, I'm doing pretty all right today. I got a beer. I'm feeling pretty good. Each success netting 2 scrap. So, because one of the big things is that you can pretty much freely take anything from anybody. Like if you can get this, you can freely put it on aboard your ship. So, actually what we should do is freight. Actually, I should do freight prisoners and storage. When the scrap has been divided. When scrap has been divided up, it's time to sort out the remaining goods. Each captain gets their first pick of the loot. First pick of the freight. Let's see, gets their first pick of the freight based on the highest buccaneer score. Based on the highest buccaneer score. If tied, make a opposed check. Make an opposed check at difficulty 3. So it's pretty much, hey, we both have the same buccaneer. Okay, cool. We're gonna roll 3d8. We roll. I scored 2 successes, and you scored 1 success. Therefore, I get first pick. I've got, it's kind of one of those things being like, fuck you. This is my shit. First pick of the freight based on freight is the disposable is a series of goods that the captains can bring aboard and place in their cargo holds. Each type of freight has different weights. Has different unit values. Each type of freight and unit values, but each pass allows the captain to take their we'll say 100 units of any type. 100 units of any type. There are food stuff here. Food stuff is literally worth 1 unit apiece. I can take 100 units of food. I want to take this super heavy machinery. That's 20. I can take 5 pieces of machinery. Then it passes to somebody else, and then it's kind of like we're divvying up the loot a little bit. But you may be saying like, we need food, and I want to be the one to deliver it. I'm the one doing this. It's my. And of course, this isn't formal. Like again, if you have a formal agreement. Yeah, if you're really working together, you can do this, but it is kind of like a, hey, fuck you kind of thing. Like, I have authority over you now. Give it to me. And of course, people will be like, well, I have the most amount of stuff on my ship, so, most amount of space, so I should carry it all. And it's like, do you really trust this guy? This guy's a pirate. How can you trust him? Oh. Any prisoners taken will count against the crew capacity. Will count against the crew capacity as 0.5 of a crew member. 0.5 of a crew member. Meaning that 0.5 of a So any prisoners taken will count against the crew capacity as 0.5 of a crew member. So let's say you have a space for 20 people, you have 10 people aboard your ship currently, you can fit an additional 20 people aboard your ship as prisoners. They outnumber you, but they're also like stuck in the cargo hold with like no food. Like, yeah, you're bound, welcome, let's go to the store. We'll count against crew capacity, 0.5 of a crew member. If the prisoners are cryogenically frozen. If the prisoners are cryogenically or otherwise rendered inert without need for. Actually, no, we're not going to talk about that. We'll actually do a footnote. Fun pirate. Fun hunter fact. Fun hunter fact. Each human being can carry a total of 3 units of harvest of 3 units of organs. Each human can carry a total of 3 units of organs apiece. 3 units of organs apiece. Just something fun to know. There we go, fun hunt. Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those things like, we can't fit these people aboard. What do we do? Well, we can. Am I saying you should totally convert any prisoner you take just effectively into organs? Yes, go for it. It's not illegal if you don't think about it. Actually, any for weapons for weapons secured but unable to be immediately mounted. Each for weapons are secured but unable to be immediately mounted. Each weapon takes up actually, we'll take up a number. No, how we want to word this? Actually, we'll take up 5, 10, or 15 units of space. 5, 10, 15 units of space. So this is literally, I have a gigantic gun that's kind of in an awkward space. Actually, no, we make these a little bit bigger. I can make these a bit bigger. We'll do 10, 15, and then 30 units of space, depending on the size. Depending on the size. Modules stored aboard the ship are broken down into core components. That are necessary for them to function. They will take up 50 units. Well, they take up, actually we'll do they'll take up 100 units per section of the, they'll take up 100 units per section of the module. This is literally for some of the bigger ones, like for example, this one, the unstable injection, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's effectively, this is 1100, mind you, 1100 units of space to get these. You are not bringing this aboard, really. You have to install it kind of on location. If you install it on location, great, awesome. If you can't, well, that's funny, right? It's funny in the Maymays. Scrap does count as 1 unit freight. Scrap does count as 1 unit freight. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things like, yeah, I have a shit ton of scrap, however. Okay, so we've got this, we've understood what's going on here. Where's the fun haunter fact? But no, fun haunter fact. Fun fact. Oh yeah. It's somewhat easier to store other things. Like, some things are super easy to store, others are very much not. If you find modules, you should install modules, kind of thing. And that brings me to the final point, which is on-site repairs, and what do I want to do? What do I want to say? I want to say modern marvel of The modern marvel of the old Federation. Federation was the modularity of the ships. Modularity of the ships. Modularity of the ships in times of crisis. In times of crisis. If the captains wish to spend a few hours, they may choose to repair. They may choose to repair up to their hull integrity. They were up to actually, so they should repair up to half of their lost hull integrity. They may repair up to half their hull integrity, as well as install any module. They have come across in the install any module they have come across in the void at this time. This time, reconfiguring any damage, any internal damage sustained. Any internal damage sustained will persist. But will grant. As even the repairs during even repairs during combat eventually fail. So yeah, the idea behind like mid-battle repairing work is not necessarily you're fully repairing it. It's we have a puncture in the ship, we're putting something on it to make sure we all don't get sucked out of the space. It's hey, we're like, here's internal, like we've taken, we've done major repairs, we've fixed a bunch of things. Our ship is still very damaged, and it isn't going to get better. We've fixed it, not really fixed it, though. Nope. Was the most out there game you've ever made or played. Ever made? Probably the strangest, like, just base concept that kind of built out of hand. Most likely Slaves to Chaos. Simply because this was, like, here's the one thing about Slaves to Chaos. This was an incredibly ambitious project that was arguably too big for even me. Forgot he was fucking God man in there. Yeah, no, like this is effectively a 4X RPG in which it's a very extensive, very large scale, and just very intimidating to actually fully do. And even now, kind of looking back on it, me attempting to fix this was going to take a very long time. Simply due to the fact of all the little costs, all the little traits. There's a lot of stuff here that I need to actually kind of think about. Strangest game I've played, well, Rifts for one, which is the greatest quintessential game of all time. I would say like one of the stranger games I've actually had the pleasure of playing was a homebrew D&D-esque game. I wouldn't really call it D&D, but the entire idea behind that game was that it's this crazy fantasy world or whatever. But the main thing that was odd about it was that it was very predispositioned that you were going to be playing an adventuring company. That's the entire idea, that you were going to build a company. And it was weird because it was West Marches before West Marches even became a thing. Which I thought was very fascinating. Kind of looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, that was totally the West Marches before that was even a concept, I think, in anybody's eyes. And I played a dwarf company, my first one. That was really fun. We played a bunch of fuck-ups led by a dwarf, Daryl Hardyheart. He was fun. My second company was just a bunch of rapscallions. Ooh, that was fun. That was fun as well. It was an odd system, and it was an odd setting. That was like the big thing I remember. The setting was really fucking weird. and a lot of things happened. Like, he had charts and charts and charts of things that could occur in the game world year by year. And like the big thing that happened during the last few this was right before I graduated high school. One of the big things that occurred was the Fae Queen ended up going into a conflict with what they called the Southern Empire, which was pretty much, I can't believe it's not Rome, like late Byzantine era Rome. They ended up going to war. However, she was such a small, minor faction in comparison to everybody else. It became this weird situation where we were being hired by both sides to do stuff. Like, what I would want to do, like, and I've always considered, you know, going back and trying to talk to him to get the game actually from him. He said, oh, I'm going to publish it. It's going to be amazing. Nothing really happened with that, but he was an older guy. That was the thing. He was a grog, like an old school fucking grog. I'll have to ask him, but he got a little bit weird. Let's just say that he got a little bit weird, so I haven't really been able to do anything with that. But that was an interesting one. The one story I do have as a reminder, there were murder raptors, because it was like, oh, it's very dangerous, and I call them the murder raptor incidents. Very simply because there were these very long trails from like point A to, you know, point B, and which these trails were like just pretty much mixed with death. They were just death. Everybody hated traveling because it was so dangerous. And one of the major issues that could occur were tiny velociraptors. And these tiny little fucking velociraptors would come out of the wood, would come out of the grass, and drag anybody out. Would drag anybody back into the grass. And he pretty much made it a rule, being like, if you got too far into the grass, you were just dead. There was no really coming back from it. The number of fucking times we had to deal with the tiny goddamn raptors. Ugh! Hate raptors. Terrible. And turns will persist as even the repairs during combat eventually fail. Actually, recruiting damaged ships. If a ship is simply crippled, if a ship is simply crippled, or its crew annihilated. If a ship is simply crippled or its crew annihilated, it can be recruited. Actually, if a ship is unless a ship is completely annihilated, it can be brought back up to the basic functionality. It can be brought back up to basic functionality. These basic functions and minimum crew allow the ship to follow behind. Allow the ship to follow behind and quote join the fleet that the captains during combat scenarios. Ordering these ships does take a major action. So it's kind of like one of those things, like these kind of damaged ships are like, you can recrew them, you just need to bring them up to minimum, and they need to be at least just crippled, otherwise known as they can't be above 50%. Like anything, if they're just fully destroyed, like they're not really doing much, or you got to get them off. You can't be like, oh, well, we're going to take your ship over, but we're not going to take you prisoner. No, like that, or you're going to get some brand new organs to put in your fucking hold. Let me actually do. Fleet order. The captain chooses. The captain makes a minor action with a ship in the fleet. Not piloted by a major character or fellow captain. If you have a freighter by your side that listens to you, you can make an order to them for a major action. That's kind of the big thing there. What I'm gonna do actually is do this extensions, forwarded paragraphs. There we go. Everything's good there. We've understood how to fucking redo ships. Ships can be resold at dock. There we go. Who's pinging me? Oh, you are. Why are you pinging me? No, I don't want. No, stop that. That's thinking about for my own game. Something called fry welding came up with. Pretty much takes one giant slab of metal and you put it scraps of mail on top of it. Electrify the metal to the point where it becomes mushy, and then you slap it on top of whatever you're trying to quickly seam up. Mail. I mean. I don't know if that would work or not. I'm not a metallurgist. I may seem like I know a lot of things, but I'm in fact not a metallurgist. That is one thing I am not. Okay, so we've got all of this, because what's going to happen after this section is we're going to do the man of the fleet. Do the man of the fleet, but we're instead going to be doing what I like to call money. We're talking about money. Money. So I like money. So our basic money. So begin with a stipend of, let's say, well, first things first. Let's just think about how money is. Money is money. So money is money. However, one of the big things is currently money is in flux. Which is to say pretty much everyone's issuing their own currencies because it's the collapse of the fucking universe. However, the most consistent one currently is the mark. Otherwise, this is the most consistent, currency. This is, this is the currency. Accepted everywhere, but not as a main currency, but everyone has to still kind of accept it. Technically, it'll be a federal mark, but everything else calls it just marks. What is the mark backed by? That's the question. How do you back? What do you back space money by? What is Dune Solaris backed by? Because Solari purchasing power set of negotiating between Gidland trying to the Emperor. For decagram. 10 billion Solaris out of Arrakis every 330 standard days. Rewards 1 million Solaris for a single Chris knife. Set up the let's do what can you buy with 10? Apparently a suitcase full of spice is worth about 10 to 15 billion Solaris. So actually, what is Solaris is based off of? Solaris Dune is based off of Let me think. What would be? How would you? Okay, actually, no. I know how. Okay, I know how to do this. So let's just say let's say 1 mark. Let's say 1 mark is roughly worth 1 USD. Okay, let's just think that real fast. We think we're okay. We're on the same. Spice is mega drugs. Spice is spice. The spice must flow. So money is money. Money is in flux. So 1 mark equal 1 USD. If I want to be a little bit more conservative about it, we can say 100 marks buys you one. Buys you a. We'll say a. Actually, so let me think. What do I want to base this on? Because pretty much we can say, like, hello phone. The mark is the USD, which is pretty high, like, relatively speaking, relatively powerful. That's the big thing. Or we can do something like the idea, like the mark is the ruble, which is like one of the big things about like how like rubles work and some other currencies. Like the Russian ruble currently is worth, how much is it worth? 17th, not even a 17th of a dollar. However, if you want to get a beer, it's 20, you're going to be spending, 50 rubles kind of thing. But that's not really a thing anymore. It's just like, who fucking cares? That's not really a problem. Similar to things like, like yen, for example. Yen is not worth anything, but you don't spend 1 yen to do something. You spend 1,500 yen. 1,500 yen's $10. That doesn't seem like a big thing. Pretty much how I'm kind of doing it is the idea of the mark. It was the federal mark was like the kind of the old currency. Everybody accepted that the federal mark was the old currency, but when the Federation fell, everyone started giving out their own new currencies. So it's not just the federal mark anymore. It's everybody has their own separate currency, and there's no universal kind of standard anymore. Because, well, your money doesn't work here. You have to use it ours. So it's kind of one of the things, like the conversion rates between various, the various things work a little bit strange. So it's like, in the lore section here, it's in the Archangelisk sector. Like it might be like the Minulma dollar. The Minulma dollar is worth, the MDs. Let's say this, an MD is going to be worth like one federal mark. But however, if you want to buy an MD, but one MD is only going to be worth like one zani. One zani is going to be worth 150 zanies. But to the Republic of Zon, 50 zanies is worth about 1 MD to them. Again, the actual like currency conversion's fucked because nobody gives a shit. Like everyone's like our currency is stronger. No, our currency is stronger. But the federal mark is the consistent. You can always exchange something for a federal mark, and the mark is always accepted everywhere else. That's the big thing. Hence why it's kind of like pirate money, because it's untraceable. That's the other big thing. It's a completely untraceable piece of money. And it's accepted everywhere. So it's like, okay, we need marks. So, I mean, if we go under the idea, like, let's think about, like, I want to buy a ship. Let's say I want to buy the Felshin Corvette. Let's say the Felshin Corvette, let's say one section of a ship is going to equal, is roughly going to be equaling about, let's say, 100 marks. energy, like something like sun diamonds. Diamonds were made in the center of a sun that holds just as much energy. Because we're not that high sci-fi. If you pile it into the sun, you die. One section of ship, about 100 marks. So the feel shin. So if we use the basic idea of like the feel shin is going to be about 600 marks. I think that's a pretty decent conversion rate. And let's say, again, it's kind of the idea being like, I want to buy a sandwich. You know, I want to buy lunch. Lunch is probably going to cost me like 2 marks. Actually, here's what we can do. Like marks. Rex penny. Belgian franc, the bonnet, the French franc, Luxembourg franc. The Portugazolci, the Croatian kuna, Koruna, the Finnish mark, the post-war, all the various coinages. So if we do, what was the pennies? Okay. So yeah, so like lunch is going to cost you about a mark. That's kind of the idea, but you aren't really going to be. Actually, like lunch is going to cost you 2 marks. Not really, actually no, like lunch will cost you a mark kind of thing. A fancy dinner is going to cost you like 3 marks. So crew is going to cost you 5 marks per job. So 5 marks a job. That means that'll make you, that'll be a decent pay. Officers are required to get for every 10 crew to board the ship. Method. Please choose how much crew they take aboard the mission. Subsequent recruitment drives me greasing wheels. Draw for signing on bonuses. Most of the time, will free to just try to survive. I'll take payment for jobs. A crewman. Let's just do a crewman. Crewman requires a payment. Requires a payment of 5 marks. Requires a payment of 5 marks. Cap off while 5 marks. 5 marks while officers require 10 marks. Instead of taking out a mortgage for your ship, you just put it on your credit card. Debatably, the best thing you get out of a star is delirium. You have fusion available. Let's see. Crew required payment of 5 marks, while officers require 10 marks. So you're pretty much pay for, but that's also lodging. So if I like, let's just think about like monthly, like the idea being like monthly rent. Like, yeah, monthly rent. Actually, no. Okay. The initial cost is going to be pretty cheap. However, here's the catch. It's the maintenance. This is going to be just the basic maintenance on it. It's going to be about 2 marks. Yeah, this is going to be about 2 marks, 2 marks a section. And obviously for just using your, just kind of like docking fees. The ideas of like, oh, this is docking fees. Well, the docking fees are going to be, 10 mark, it's going to be 10 marks a day kind of thing. That's what's going to cripple you. That's why, this is where the cost actually comes in. It's yeah, it costs you a little bit of money to kind of like keep it in, keep it in there, keep it, keep the maintenance up, keep the abilities up, make sure everything is working properly, and make sure all your crew is paid for, because it's not being paid for. Oh God. Okay, so if we do this, if we do under the concept of, though I'm not too terribly fussed about it. Let's just do it by one section of a ship equals about 600 marks. But you're going to start off with a decent chunk of marks. 600 marks, so 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to be 800 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, 8. So you got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1200. Put it on your debit card for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 1400. Most frigates costing about 1400. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Forgot because these ones were very awkward to draw, so a lot of them are 14. Let's see, so 3 by 4, that's 12. I should just increase one randomly just to fuck with people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18. 1800 for the Ame. 1, 2, 4, 5, 10. 1600 for the Delirium. 1600 for the Albert Whisker. For a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. 1700 for the Varric. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 14, 15. Yeah, you already kind of see like a pretty major uptick in price just based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 100. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 4, 5, 6, 7. Must look like a goober doing this, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 22, 24. There we go. So there are all our various ships. So the most expensive ship currently available is the Pistolero or the Sister Abigail at 20, or the Wash 2 at 24,000. So we're gonna give people. We're gonna start people off with let's say 35, like 3,500 marks. Like just kind of as a tentative thing, like 3,500 marks. Let's see. Debatably the best thing to start. General thoughts on metacurrency. Metacurrency is either very good or very. It kind of depends on how it's good. I'm usually not a big fan of metacurrency. I used to be a big fan of metacurrency. It's kind of the. The idea behind the metacurrency is a good idea. However, it can be very easily abused depending on its value. I talk about value a few times, but the idea behind it is if the metacurrency is too valuable, like it is this essential thing, it becomes essential and everybody wants it, everyone hoards it, everyone does everything in their power to get it. If the metacurrency isn't valuable, people won't use it. simply because there isn't a purpose to it. Like, yeah, oh wow, cool, I have a luck point, but the luck points don't do anything. That's why like inspiration always felt weird in like D&D and stuff, because inspiration was a meta currency that would only kind of occasionally pop up if people remembered about it. Which is, I think, one of the reasons why they moved into the angle where you could farm inspiration. Because it's like, they want people to use it more often. My only issue with the system with cost scale is literally with each ship squares, the power goes up faster than it seems. Now, one of the big things about this as well is, and one thing I should actually kind of say more than anything, is that this is, how do I want to word this? This is base costs. This is like just raw, like just this is all you're buying. You're buying the hulk of ship, no guns, no weapons, no modules, nothing. That's what you're just buying. You're buying this raw. In the game, I may go to the docks and be like, I need a Jaeger. Give me this fucking Jaeger now. And that guy's going to be like, okay, cool. 24,000 marks. 24,000 marks. Yeah, it's my, I'm not going to sell it to you because you're a dick and I don't like you. Like, fine, fuck it. And somebody else later down the road be like, okay, you know what? I need the Ame. I know this guy. We're a good team. We're a good bunch of partners. We're good with each other. He might be like, okay, I can sell you this Ame. I'm going to sell you this Ame. 1,500 marks. However, it does have some internal damage. You're going to have to fix it. It's a fixer-upper. Or, hey, I can sell you the Delirium here. 2,400 marks. I won't take any less. I'll be you'll ruin me if I do. It's kind of one of those things you're immediately entering in the illegal arms dealing market to try to buy these ships, and it's very not formal. This is like the best way to think about this is controlled prices of just raw parts of like raw. This is just you entering in. This is what you have, and you will probably want to upgrade a bit. And you'll be like, yeah, I want to get the, I have the Varki. It's a very nice ship, but I want to expand more. And you may be thinking, well, why don't I just get the biggest light cruiser I can? Well, how are you going to afford all the modules? Because you're not going to be able to afford all these modules, because that's all you end up getting. You get a very small stipend. So let's think about these. So if we keep up this idea, so if we do like one section of modules is going to cost you about 50 marks. We'll say 50 to 100 marks, depending on what we're kind of working with. So we'll just kind of play it by ear and there. So here would be so here it would be 250 marks. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, this would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be 9 times 50. It would look like a goober, but 450. Want to make sure. These ones I'm going to say it's 100. Technically, it's going to take up 4, so it's going to be 400. Blast doors are pretty cheap. Blast doors are cheap. We don't need to think about that. Boarding pods are pretty simple. But they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means it's going to be 600. Bulk transform 1, 2, 3. 6, 7. That means it's going to be 50. Inverted hanger is going to be an odd one. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But again, this is one of the issues with the converted hangar, which is the idea of, hey, yeah, here's a cool hangar. You still gotta buy all the wings for it. You gotta buy this shit. And it's like, yeah, like it's cheap. However, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 250. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. You're going to be paying 350. Or you're going to be paying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You're going to be paying 750. You're going to be paying 750 for this, which very few ships can actually do. Are the prices based on anything, or are you just winging it? Yeah, it sounds right. It sounds about right. When it comes to pricing, I'll give you all a hint when it comes to pricing and stuff. There's really no good way to do it outside just kind of what feels vaguely correct, or unless you're referencing something else. There's a reason I actually don't deal with prices a lot, just because there's 1,001 situations that can occur to affect prices for something, and usually it's like, if you want it, you can kind of get a hold of it, you might get some money. So yeah, this is mostly if it's like a standard template here, if it's like a square effectively, it's going to be 50 per section. If it's one of these, it's going to be 100 per section, even if it doesn't fill it all the way. So because it's like, yeah, these are energy stuff and it costs more. Numbers sound right, really. That's kind of the idea. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which hopefully, again, which I need to emphasize kind of later on in the book itself, would be fucked with the players and their money. A rich player should have their money quickly parted from them. Because everything, the second people know you're flush with cash, everything is going to get more expensive. Not because not because, oh, GM, you're being mean, you're trying to steal all my money. No, because you've told everybody you have a shit ton of money, and they damn well know you can spend it. People would rather make a sale than not make a sale. Which I think one of the big idea, this is actually like an actual like economic term. I can't remember the exact name of it, but the basic concept is, let's say I have a little train, a little tram, or not a little tram, a little I'm trying to think of something on the top of my head, like one of those little buses that go around, the little shuttles. That's it, shuttles. Pretty much, it's like, if let's say I have a high shuttle, it's like my little shuttle there, and if during a busy day, I might charge $50 a seat. However, during a very slow day, I might only be charging $30 a seat, because I would rather have somebody in that seat paying money than nobody in that seat not paying. Flights do this a lot. If you ever want to know like why flights get like significantly cheaper when you're real far out or really close to the deadline, it's because they just want to get people in. Because on a flight, it's empty seats are worth zero. That's not worth anything. A seat that someone paid $150 for when the guy next to him paid $400, that's still something, but that guy who paid $400 is first, and he got on there early, while the guy who paid $150 was there at the last second, who might not have gotten it. They gambled, but they at least have something. They're getting something out of it. What the idea behind this is, if they damn well know you have money, they're going to charging you. Now, one of the ideas behind the smuggler stat, you bring that up, Ethical, actually, which is very good, very smart, is that's your ability to know people and get what you need. Hey, I have 15, I have 30 people I need to offload. Who's going to give me the best price? Well, make me a smuggler check. Okay, make me a difficulty 3 smuggler check. Okay, I'm going to roll my 3. Oh my goodness. I rolled 2 successes. Who's gonna? Well, a guy named Bosco is going to pay you about 40. He's going to pay you about 70 a head. But if you pretty much sell in bulk, he's going to give you about 90 a head, because he wants to get as many people as possible. Cool. That's what smuggler's all about. Hey, I need to offload all this illegal shit at this port that is definitely not legal, and I cannot be here. You're like, who do I need to talk to? Okay, you're going to be talking to these 2 people, and you know where they are. Cool. That is what smuggler's all about. How do you do this? If you want to do nonchalant and be like, haha, oh, I'm just a poor little smugglerino and I've got nothing on me. Ooh, woo, look at me. Yeah, people are more likely to believe you. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, I got nothing on me. You know me. Come on. I don't have a lot of money. But you just bought a brand new ship. I know, and that all my money's in that thing now. Now give me that. Give me the goods. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, do you also like the these just kind of worked out perfectly, and they do fit beautifully just about wherever I need them to go. So I'm like, hell yeah, gamers, I am doing it. We also want to bring in, let's see, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is 350. Hull reinforcements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think people quite realize how fucking obnoxious this putting this particular part in is until it's like I'm waiting for it being like, Notepad, why can I not fit this damn thing anywhere? Being like, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 350. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually 8. That means 400. 6. That means 300. You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are 800. 6. You are 600. 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. 2, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 800. 800 for energy rangefinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, fuck me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Eight, 9, 450. The transponder core rewrite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fuck me. 200. 10. 5, 10, 50, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is going to be 9 worth 900. 3, 4, 5, 10, 11. That means if it's 1100, that means it would normally be 1100. If you have it, it'd be 550. This is going to be 150. And finally, this is going to be 150. There we are. Prices, baby. They ain't perfect, but they'll do. Okay, so this brings me to the man and the fleet. As the captain slowly make a name for themselves. Let's see. As the captain slowly make a name for themselves in the void, they will inevitably attract attention. As well as notoriety. But nothing is ever truly free. Nothing is ever truly free. The captains grow in power and influence by spending money, by spending marks. To do such, they will go to a, let's see. To do such, they will go to actually. Will grow in power by spending marks, partying, schmoozing, contacts, or just getting into a few fights. Money is power in the money is power in the underworlds, and those who can afford it, will rise to the top. Whenever. Actually, whenever the captains are in home port, they are able to spend. They're able to spend their free marks on spreading their glory. Well, there's glory and abilities. The more money, let's see. To increase in ability and skill, the captain will need to spend a certain amount of marks to improve them. To increase the ability and skill, the captain will need to spend a certain amount of marks. So, yeah, power is money, friend. You want to get better at your job, you're gonna need to spend a shit ton of cash doing it. But this also comes with the downside, which again, there's a reason your stats are called titles. These are how important you are. Oh, I'm just gonna power level my boss real fast. Yeah, now you've got the eye of the fucking tyrant on you, and who does not like it how you are suddenly a lot more important than they are currently. And hey, you know those docking fees that are about 25 marks? 25 marks a day with about a 2-week grace period. It's 150 marks starting yesterday. I don't have the money for that. I just burnt it up. Do you? I look like I give a shit? Don't know if I like this beer or not. China Brewer's Pride with Collins Street Bakery. Fruit cake pastry porter. Fruit cake pastry porter. I don't taste the fruit cake. Taste the porter all right. It's like a sweet porter. I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know if I'm enjoying this. Maybe if it was like really cold, I would like it more. I don't know. I'm befuddled by this one. Like the Oktoberfest one was kind of mid. Not gonna lie. Bell's Oktoberfest mid. However, Shiner Brewer's Pride, the fruitcake fucking porter. I don't know. Something sus about that one. I'm not vibing with it as much as I was hoping I would. Okay, we're not going to comment on whatever's being. Oof. Let's spend a certain amount of increase in ability or skill to increase in fame and title. The captain will need to spend a certain amount of marks. So the basic calculation is to increase a title. To increase a title by 1 step, they will need to spend 1,000 times desired title rating in marks. To increase the title by 1 step, they will need to spend 1,000 times the desired tile rating. So it's going to be like 5,000 marks you're going to need to spend. You're going to need to spend 6,000 marks, up to 7,000 marks. You got to pay this all in one go, all in one down payment. Increasing. However, increasing titles comes at a simple cost, most notably, attracting attention. As the fame and fortune of the captain persists, they will attract those who seek to manipulate, use, or contract. They will attract those who seek to manipulate, use, or contract them to do their bidding. Very high title. High titles, 6, or otherwise known as kind of 6+, will attract the eye of the tyrant of the port, whether in a positive or negative light. Negative light is to be determined. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like the idea of being like, this is actually how you improve yourself. You're going to need to spend on, you're going to need to buy ships. Money is the most important thing. You always need more money, always need more stuff, always need more acquisitions. Actually, so that's pretty much that. I don't really need that much with Man in the Fleet. It's pretty much like, this is how you're going to level up. Actually, I know what I have to do. I have to do, heading 2. Actually, new quirks, new problems. New quirks, new problems, new quirks, new sins. New quirks, new sins. A captain during their tenure will develop a series of quirks, mannerisms and problems that haunt them until they are space dust. These are reflected in quirks and sins. The captain will develop a new quirk every time they complete a major job, or the doom track advances by 1. Or the Doom track advances, which I'm going to be covering the Doom track in the kind of the next section, which is kind of the idea. What I want to do, what I want to get, is that there's going to be 2 kind of major ways, I'd say about 3 major ways to play. You can do it either like a campaign method, which is like, yeah, you're just here, you're not really focusing too much on the station, like it's home base, but like not much else. It's just very much focused on the captains. This is the captain's story. If you want to do the station story, kind of the port, then it's going to be this kind of the idea of this Doom track, as every time they attract attention, every time jobs go badly, every time something's going on, it's advancing this little track. And every time it advances, something bad is going on. It's kind of the idea of like more eyes are coming down on you, until eventually when it hits 10, you're fucked. Everything is going to go to shit really goddamn fast. It's these guys have finally said, nope, we're done with this. We want no more pirates. And they warp in 3 warships. They warp in a dozen warships, and suddenly it's a fight for your lives. And the final session of the campaign is you running the fuck away, trying not to get completely blasted into smithereens. It's the story of the station. It's a story of the adventure of the life and times of the people aboard this station that eventually falls because it's the dying days of piracy. You've hit the golden age during kind of the chaos. Now everyone's kind of settled, and now everyone's looking at each other being like, why do we tolerate these pirates? Like, why do we tolerate them? And by the time you hit 10, it's kind of like, if you hit 10, it's over kind of thing. Like, it's just Jover. You're going to die. Or there's not going to be the happy ending is if you escape. And it's not going to be a fun one either. You got to get the fuck out of Dodge. And it's going to advance a little bit slowly, but it's like, yeah, like this is clearly over. We'll develop new quirk every time to complete a major job or the Doom track advances. If the to a maximum of 5 acquired quirks. 5 acquired quirks. These must reflect the captain's experiences and problems they have faced and overcame in the face of in the field. For example, if the captain has been very active. It has been active in the arms trade. They may develop the quirk. Lord of War, which helps them determine quality and able to pawn off new weapons. On the other hand, are sins. On the other hand, there are sins. A sin is a quote negative quirk. Negative quirk, which will take away a success. Success should it come up during a trial. Sins are gained naturally through play by the captains performing actions that will continue to haunt them. For example, our Lord of War above has been fundamental. Our Lord of War has funded their arms trading by rating the. Let me get a good name for it. By rating the Hollowed Union, earning him the sin of heretic of the church. If they ever encounter the faithful, they will have significant issue with dealing with them. Pretty much the idea, what I want to get across with the concept of sins is these are going to haunt you. These are going to continuously haunt you. These are going to make your life hell. I'm going to add AI control ships. I meant to answer that. Sorry. Sort of. There are sort of going to be AI controlled ships. AI is actually pretty prevalent in the setting. I don't quite know how I want to do that. I might add in like a bunch of optional rules below of like, here's how all this actually fucking works. But like kind of the idea behind like ships piloted by people are going to make logical decisions. And they're going to be like, we're outgunned and outnumbered. We're going to try to run the fuck away because we're not stupid. However, a ship that is piloted by an AI are going to have actually quite a few different benefits depending on what they are. If they're shackled, they're only going to get another minor action. If they're unshackled, they're pretty much going to be able to double all the actions they're able to take at once because they're an unshackled AI and they have a warship and you don't, and oh god, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh god. Why are there so many of them? They've deployed everything. We're all going to die. So yeah, new quirks, revival and salvage. Alright. We're at page 50 exactly. Didn't quite get everything I wanted done today, but got quite a bit. Because we're pretty much done with all the captain stuff. All we really need to do now is sector creation. I think I know how I want to do sector creation. My throat's giving out, fun fact. Weapons are pretty much the last thing I need to do, and I'm just going to sit down and probably just do weapons. They're going to be boring as shit, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Probably, if things go according to plan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ship creation done. I'm going to probably just do weapons tonight. Just sit down and just do the rest of weapons after I get done going over, what I need to do is I need to read the Elite Dangerous RPG and Halo Mythic tonight because I meant to do that yesterday, but I got caught up reading fucking Pillars of Eternity. This fucking game, man. This fucking game. Yeah, get ready for tomorrow on this one. This one's an oddity. This one's a new one. I wasn't quite prepared for Pillars of Eternity. I wasn't quite prepared for that one. But, yeah. I'm gonna do that tonight. Probably just do weapons all at once. If you have ideas, just feel free to send them to me. I have the basic ideas of how to do them. But they usually are going to be broken down into, because what I need to do actually is I need to draft up the document being like, hey, I want to make my own ships. I want to make my own ships. Here's how you do it. This is like the little guidelines you have to follow and like their base prices. Or I want to make my own module. This is how you do it. This is going to be one of those games with just a shit ton of stuff in it that I hate writing. I hate writing equipment lists. It's agony. Luckily, the next game isn't really going to be that hardcore, though the game after is. I know it's going to, and it's going to be painful, and I'm going to cry. And I'm ready. I'm ready. Alright. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. Hive missiles. I do have hive missiles, actually. Thank you all very much for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. I will see you all tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow noon EST, which we will be going over the wonderful world of video games. Video games. We all like video games, right? Hello, fellow gamers. Yeah, we're gonna be gaming tomorrow, everybody, and it's gonna be fun. Because a lot of these it's interesting that a lot of the a lot of the games we're going over all have like kind of a weird story to them in one way or another, and only one of them is done. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting story at least. So, thank you all for watching. Godspeed, good luck. I will see you all on tomorrow.